Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show that extracts the critical insights and intelligence you need to stay ahead. I'm Lex.
And I'm Vera. And today's Deep Dive is brought to you by C9, Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company.
Our mission today is really laser focused. We're talking directly to you, the Australian business owner, the C-level executive.
That's right. We are unlocking the critical technology mandates for 2026. This isn't just theory. It's based on some pretty high-stakes reports from Gartner and Deloitte.
Yeah.
We're not talking about small tweaks. We're defining the new baseline.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we are deep diving into AI-powered hyper-personalization, and, maybe more importantly, we're putting a dollar figure on the cost of doing nothing.
The cost of the status quo.
Right. If you've ever had that sick feeling watching a senior client get the same generic email as a cold lead, well, this deep dive is for you.
We're going to walk you through exactly how your competitors are already using custom AI to get a massive competitive edge. And this isn't about small percentages. It's about, major shifts in market share.
Before we jump in, just a quick reminder to hit that follow button. And if you know a colleague, maybe someone on your board, who really needs to get their head around this stuff for 2026, share this deep dive with them.
Okay, let's get into it. The first thing we need to establish is the core problem. I call it the personalization crisis.
The personalization crisis.
Okay. The issue is that most off-the-shelf software, your standard CRM or SaaS platform, it treats every human as a segment, not an individual. It's inherently blind.
Blind. That's a good word for it, because what we see on the ground operationally is this painful friction every single day. Think about your senior managers, your best people. How do they start their Monday?
I think I know where you're going with this.
They're wasting, 90 minutes? Maybe 2 hours? Just jumping between 5 or 6 different systems?
Yeah, you've got IOB over here, Salesforce over there, then there's Outlook, SharePoint, some old billing portal.
And they're spending all that time just trying to piece together a client's history. It's a huge productivity drag. Your most expensive people are acting like data entry clerks.
And the cost goes beyond productivity. That's where the real danger is.
Exactly. Imagine your $2.5 million client getting an email with the same offer that went to a cold lead.
It basically tells that client, you're just a number to us. It just erodes that perceived value, and that hits your customer lifetime value, your CLV, straight away.
And you see the symptom, right? Pipeline conversion rates are just stuck. They've been sitting at, 19 to 22% for the last 18 months.
And everyone thinks it's a sales problem, but it's not. The data shows the system underneath is broken. It's obsolete.
So you have the data to back that up.
We do, and it's pretty brutal. The Gartner 2025 Australia Digital Experience Report, it's very clear. It found that a staggering 87% of off-the-shelf CRMs used by Australian companies to deliver less than 12% true behavioral personalization.
Say that again? Less than 12%.
Less than 12%.
So almost 9 out of 10 businesses are running on systems that are basically flying blind.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
It is, especially when you think about the goal, which is real-time, individual-level prediction. The report found only 9% of local organizations can actually do that.
So that 9% is the competition. They're the ones setting the pace.
They're on the frontier.
Okay, let's make this real. Let's put a number on it. For a mid-market Australian firm, say 100 to 1,000 employees, what is the documented financial cost of this generic approach?
Right, so the sources quantify that loss. It's a documented loss of between $1.8 million and $7.4 million per year.
Wow. 1.8 to 7.4 million.
Well, that's not a made-up number. That comes from calculating the CLV erosion we talked about, the staff productivity drag, and just the sheer number of lost opportunities because the system couldn't predict the right thing to offer at the right time.
So your off-the-shelf software has become a multi-million-dollar liability.
That's the bottom line.
Which pivots us perfectly to what leaders should be doing. We know that just putting in an email is dead. So what are the new table stakes for 2026?
Well, you have to move from static segmentation to dynamic, predictive hyper-personalization. And it's not really a choice anymore. The buyers are demanding it.
What does the data say on that?
The Deloitte 2025 Australian CX Index found that 74% of B2B buyers in Australia, they say they will switch providers for a better, more personalized experience.
3/4 of your customers are ready to walk.
They're actively looking for a reason to. And the execs know this. In the same report, 68% of Australian leaders admit their current systems just. They just can't do it. They can't adapt in real time.
So they know the problem exists.
You do. which is why the leaders, the PE-backed firms, the national logistics operators, the big aged care providers, they're not buying another off-the-shelf tool.
They're building custom solutions.
Exactly. They are deploying what we call the 4 layers of true hyper-personalization.
Okay, break that down for us. What's layer 1?
Layer 1 is the engine, real-time behavioral AI. This isn't just about flagging an overdue invoice. This is the system autonomously predicting which client is likely to churn 30 days before they even think about leaving.
So it's proactive, not reactive.
It's predictive. It recommends the single next best action for your sales team to take with a specific client right now.
That immediately stops that 2-hour data scramble on a Monday morning. What about for the executives themselves?
That's layer 2. Adaptive internal dashboards. This is huge. The software actually looks different depending on who is using it. It morphs automatically.
How does that work in practice?
Well, if you're the CFO, the system knows to show you risk metrics and cash flow first. But if the COO logs in, they see capacity, staff utilization, fulfillment timelines, same system, completely different view.
And that happens automatically without needing a whole IT project to change a dashboard.
Precisely. It's built into the architecture. The system learns what's important to your role.
Okay, that covers efficiency. What about the historical record? The single source of truth everyone is always chasing.
That's layer 3, omnichannel memory. This is the permanent record. The software remembers everything. The last phone call, the last email, the last portal login, the notes from the last meeting. It's all there.
And it's not stuck in someone's Outlook folder?
No. It's tied to the client profile, permanently and instantly accessible to anyone who needs it. It creates true corporate memory.
And that leads to the final layer, layer 4, which sounds like it's where things get really automated.
That's right. Layer 4 is predictive automation. This is where the system starts executing tasks. Based on the AI and the memory, it generates quotes, it books meetings, it sends out complex follow-ups.
All without a human having to press a button.
Exactly. Without human input.
Yeah.
It's automation driven by genuine intelligence, not just simple if-then rules.
These 4 layers sound powerful, but for the executives listening, it all comes down to one thing: ROI. What are the real-world documented returns we're seeing here in Australia?
The ROI is it's immense. And these are specific Australian benchmarks from 2025. In financial services, firms are seeing a 41% increase in customer lifetime value.
41%. That's not just growth. That completely changes the valuation of your business.
It does. For professional services, the big win is internal. They're seeing a 29% increase in billable utilization. That's a direct result of killing that Monday morning data scramble.
And you mentioned it's helping with staffing challenges.
Massively. In aged care and health, which is a high turnover sector, these custom systems have led to a 33% increase in staff retention.
That is a huge operational win.
And we see it everywhere. Logistics firms are getting a 24% improvement in on-time delivery, and in e-commerce it's just off the charts, a 350% increase in engagement rates because every message is actually relevant.
Okay, let's look at some specific examples. You mentioned a North Sydney PE firm. How did they use this?
That's a great case study. They had a $28 million capital raise on the line. They built a custom AI investor portal. The portal tracked everything: historical behavior, what documents each investor looked at, for how long. The AI used that to predict the exact concerns and questions each investor would have before they even had the first meeting.
So they walked into the meeting with all the answers already prepared and personalized for each investor.
Exactly. The AI turned their pitch into a surgical tool. That's moving from IT spend to a core capital-raising function.
Incredible. And the Melbourne aged care example, that's about staff, which is such a critical issue.
It is. They had a huge staff turnover problem. So their custom system was an adaptive rostering tool. It learned each individual nurse's preferences.
Preferences like what?
Shift patterns, commute times, even fatigue patterns based on their recent workload. It built the roster to actively reduce burnout.
And the result was a 33% drop in turnover in 9 months.
A 33% drop.
Right.
Think of the savings on recruitment and agency staff. It's huge.
Okay, last one, the Brisbane Logistics Company. Speed and accuracy.
Right. They replaced their manual quoting process with custom pricing engine. The engine instantly calculates dozens of variables: fuel prices, driver availability, even that specific customer's historical price sensitivity.
So they can quote faster and smarter.
They quote 40% faster, and they're winning 28% more tenders because the price is always optimized for both profit and the likelihood of winning the job.
The lesson here seems to be that the gap between the leaders and the laggards is getting wider. And it's happening fast.
Incredibly fast. And McKinsey's latest data from November 2025 proves it. Companies with this real-time, individual-level personalization are growing revenue 3.2 times faster than their peers.
3.2 times faster.
It's exponential, which is why 71% of Australian CEOs now list personalization capability as a top 3 priority for the next financial year. 18 months ago, that number was just 34%.
So if you're a CEO and this isn't in your top 3, you're already behind. Your competition is executing on this right now.
Which brings us to a really important warning. Before anyone rushes out to solve this, we have to talk about the AI cowboy.
Yes, the AI cowboy. I think we've all seen the ads. Get a custom AI app in 7 days for $7 grand.
It sounds too good to be true, because it is. These quick-fix solutions are incredibly dangerous for a serious enterprise.
Why is that? What are the failure points?
There are 3 main ones. First is compliance and security. They almost never comply with Australian privacy principles. They're built fast and cheap, often overseas, and they expose you to huge legal risk.
Okay, risk is number 1.
Second is scaling. It might work for 500 users, but the code is a mess. When you try to scale to 5,000 users, the whole thing just falls over, and you have to start again from scratch.
And the third point has to be about the AI itself, right? The quality of the prediction.
Exactly. The AI starts to hallucinate. It makes things up. If your AI is setting prices or managing clinical data, a hallucination isn't a funny quirk. It's a financial or legal catastrophe.
So the only safe approach is to demand full ownership. You need the architecture diagrams, the documentation, the test suites.
Your team has to own the asset, which leads to the number 1 reason these projects fail in Australia.
Which is?
Skipping discovery. Executives see it as a cost, but it's actually the most critical step you can take to remove risk.
So that initial 45-minute discovery call is actually where the value is created.
It's where you de-risk the entire project. A proper discovery session, like the free one C9 offers, maps everyone's definition of success. It quantifies the pain in actual dollars, and it builds a staged roadmap where you can see the ROI at every single step.
So if you skip discovery, you're basically guessing, and you end up wasting 6 to 12 months and blowing the budget.
You're spending hundreds of thousands on guesswork. But if you invest 45 minutes up front, you get accurate fixed pricing, which avoids that other huge red flag.
The dangerous indicative pricing, the classic $180K to $320K quote.
Which is just proof the vendor has no idea what your business actually needs. Look at that Brisbane client. One vendor gave them that huge range. After a proper discovery, C9 quoted a fixed $248K broken into stages.
And the ROI?
Stage 1 went live in 10 weeks and delivered $380,000 in annual ROI.
So the first stage paid for the entire project and then some?
The rest of the project became self-funding. That's the power of discovery. It turns a cost center into a self-funding strategic investment.
So let's wrap this up. For 2026, hyper-personalization isn't a nice-to-have anymore. It's not a differentiator.
No. It is, quite simply, the new table stakes. It's what you need just to stay in the game. The gap between the leaders building this now and everyone else is already being measured in market share.
So the final question for everyone listening is really a strategic one. Will your business be the one setting the new standard and capturing that 3.2x faster growth? Or are you going to spend the next 3 years trying to catch up?
And on that note, we have to remind you that spots for the free 45-minute hyper-personalization discovery call are very limited. We only offer 8 per week, and they are booking out fast for December and January. It's the quickest way to put a real dollar figure on your current system's failings.
Secure your strategic edge before those Q1 budgets get locked in. Visit C9, that's C, the number 9 Australia's leading custom software, apps, integration, and database developer company at www.c9.com.au.
Thank you for joining us for the deep dive.
And please remember to follow and share this deep dive with anyone who needs to hear it. We'll see you next time.